What's going on, everyone? Is altcoin season about to start finally after a whole month of January with a lot of coins trading more sideways, slightly down? Are we about to witness the official launch of altcoin season? We got a lot of coins in the green today, but we're also going to explore the possibility that some coins might not have as special a bull market as others. If you want to find out what those coins are and why there could be some problems, you got to stick around for the entire video. Make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. But first, we got to roll an intro. All right, everybody. Now, before we get in here and introduce things, I want to make sure people are clear here. Don't start judging what you think the video is going to be about and what we're going to say before we say it. Let us get into details before people either freak out or start celebrating because they think they know exactly what we're going to say. Just want to make sure I throw that little tidbit out there before we get into the show. But I got to introduce my two co-hosts here, two fine gentlemen. I got Smay down here at the bottom right. Smay, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. I drank a red Gatorade before the show. I am not wearing lipstick as much as it might look like I'm wearing lipstick. It was actually a red Gatorade that dyed my lips. I promise.
That sounds like quite the cover story.
I promise. But anyways, I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing good, man. Having a great day so far. I got my other man over here, T-Shroom, bottom left. Shroomy, how we feeling today?
It's been a busy day, Tim. I have only went outside today just to let the dogs out. I'm going to need to go on a nice long walk.
Yeah.
Blue Gatorade is what I'm drinking today to stay hydrated.
Ooh.
It's
now,
delicious.
Here's I want to point out. I just want to point this out here. The investigative work. He's been drinking blue Gatorade, and yet his lips are not blue. So why is your red Gatorade turning
Show us your tongue, Shroom. Show us your tongue.
That's not going to happen.
All right, listen. Someone out there, Crux, if you're watching, we need a poll. Do we buy Smay's story of red Gatorade?
It was definitely red Gatorade. I was not wearing red lipstick.
Somewhere in that room. Okay.
Well,
right, drink it while you can.
That's a different thing.
Drink it while you can before RFK gets rid of it. That red dye, it's not going to last.
It's actually the sugar-free. Somebody said pure sugar. It was a sugar-free. Okay, you think I just drink sugar? You think I hate myself? Yeah. Maybe a little bit, but not that much.
Let's get into crypto talk. May, thank you so much for your thoughts on the on Gatorade and sugar. Before we get into the details, I got to throw it over to my man T-Shroom to cover the news for the day. What are we talking about today in the news? Our minute-long breakdown. Take it away, T-Shroom.
Absolutely. Well, I'm hunting around for news on Jasmine. I haven't been able to find too much, so we'll get into the headlines that we do know about. Michael Saylor is chilling on the internationally distributed cover of Forbes magazine, and they're calling him the Bitcoin alchemist. Grayscale launches a Grayscale Bitcoin miners ETF, ticker MNRS. That's pretty cool. Should bring some liquidity to the mining stocks. ECB, the European Central Bank, cuts rates by 25 basis points as expected, following the lead from Canada and defying the pause from the American Central Bank, the Fed. Norway's central bank fund reveals owning 500 million of MicroStrategy shares. This is the second time they've purchased these shares. This isn't a Norwegian bank. This is the Central Bank of Norway. Very significant there. And that is going to round out our stories for today. Make sure that you guys go subscribe to the Investing Bros on Twitter to make sure you don't miss out on anything happening in crypto. One last headline. You don't need to go back to my screen, but it was revealed in yesterday's Tesla earnings report that they did not sell any Bitcoin. They kept all the Bitcoin that they've been purchased. So really good headline there from Tesla.
Very, very good stuff. We're about to get into the charts. We're going to talk a lot of things. I see the chat already. People asking, can we look at Jasmine? Can we look at Ondo? Can we look at this and that? Guys, we're going to do a lot of technical analysis today. So strap on in. But I'll tell you this, you got to smash the like button if you want us to do your coin. If you want us to do your favorite coins technical analysis, smash the like. That way it'll secure those votes for sure. Let's look at the bubbles here. Sea green here this afternoon. None bigger than Jasmy. Jasmy, I love Jasmy. One of my favorite holds I have. It is my high risk, high reward hold, but it is paying off for me today. Up 33% today. Some other coins taking off. Dexa, you remember Dexa was the biggest loser yesterday. It's up 18%. Arweave right here. Is this Arweave? Yeah, Arweave. I wanted to make sure I didn't missay that. Arweave is up today pretty big. OM 24%. Hype is up. In fact, everything's up, guys. Everything is up. There's a couple outliers. Pengu and Trump are down. Tau and Whiff are down, but not a lot of red here today because of what Jerome Powell did yesterday. In fact, if you guys were not here watching us with us live, we might talk a little bit more Jerome Powell. I don't know how much we're going to talk about that today, but overall, dovish press conference. He didn't say everything we wanted him to say for a bull market to just explode, but he said enough clearly for Bitcoin to rally up to levels we hadn't seen in a couple of days. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into some Bitcoin technical analysis, and then we're going to talk about altcoin analysis as well, and discuss the concept of the title of today's video, altcoin season. Is it coming soon? Yes or no? But also, are certain altcoins going to be left behind? What are some signs that potentially is on the table? Let's start off here with Bitcoin. Zooming in, if you weren't on our show yesterday or didn't watch with us yesterday, we discussed the possibilities and what we wanted to see. Right now, I love what I'm seeing on Bitcoin's chart. When you zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, we were under a 4-hour charts resistance level, down sending resistance. If you go back to the height here where we hit all-time highs back on January 19th, we had been putting in lower highs and technically lower lows as well since that time. It does look like we bottomed out here back on the 26th, and last night, we broke above that resistance level, and we've now opened multiple candles above this line. That is a very clean breakout. We're going to talk about if we could pull back here in a little bit, but positive sign for the bull market that makes you feel really good if you bought anywhere in this camp because of this bottom. If you bought the dip back here around the 27th, you probably bought the dip of this pullback, and we're now moving to the upside on Bitcoin. But let's get into some details here and what you need to know about. A couple different formations are in play. Let's zoom really far in, go to the 1-hour chart. We talked about this yesterday. We developed over the last couple of days on a smaller time frame an ascending triangle formation. Technically, I'm going to start right here, even though we started it way back on the 27th. I'm going to move here. We started the morning of the 27th. The real bottom here is going to be right around 3 o'clock. What was it? 1 o'clock. Bad at military time there. 1 o'clock was the bottom of this move. If you move to the breakout of this formation, you take this all the way up to the flat top we had around 103,000. You move it over to a breakout spot. This would give us a perceived projection for Bitcoin price somewhere in the world of roughly 107,500, right? So this is going to be a target to keep an eye on. It also has significant resistance, as this was pretty much the top back in December. Can we re-grab not just that all-time high, can we re-grab the all-time high set here only a couple of weeks ago as well? But that's one miniature target that we're looking at to the upside on Bitcoin that could happen in the next day or two. Now, let's keep moving on, though. What did I just delete? All right, we're going to delete this one again. I don't know what happened right there, but we're going to keep going on because that is just a minor call as to what we could do. We got to go back onto the 4-hour chart and talk about what could happen over the next week and some change. We're talking about a much larger breakout all the way up here. You're looking at a falling channel or a falling wedge pattern that would send the price up here all the way to 114,000, almost 115,000. In fact, because there's so much else going on with the significance of 114,000, I'll show you a couple of the things going on. That's going to be a level absolutely you want to keep an eye on. This is now matching the breakout prediction from the falling channel we were under just a couple of weeks ago. When you move this over to this breakout spot, this is actually coming higher above 115,000, but they're so close to each other. We're going to kind of add them into the same grouping. That zone right beneath 115, a little bit above 115,000, is definitely picking up some steam. And the last thing that I'm watching here is Fibonacci extension. Going back from that high to this low, you can see the significant 1.272 level right in that same camp as well. So when Bitcoin starts to move, don't be surprised if we do see a move on Bitcoin when we hit 114, 115,000, to see a small pullback, maybe pull back down to former highs before regrouping and heading to the upside. There's probably going to be a lot of people taking profits / looking for short positions when we get up there towards 115. Okay. But all that said, these are longer term breakout prices that could be on the table. We need to discuss the potential for a pullback over the next couple of hours. In fact, if you were in our live trading group, I warned them hours ago that there's a chance that a pullback could happen late today. In fact, I'll go into some details here. Coincidentally, if you've been trading this over the last couple of days, every single day that the market opens green or opens bullish, we end up closing bearish, and vice versa. The days that we've opened bearish, we've ended up closing bullish. Well, if you go back to 9 a.m. this morning, let's go right here. 9 a.m. this morning, we had a nice large bullish candle on the market open day. You can see we retraced a little bit, came back down to those levels, but we are within the last hour candle before the markets close for the day. Don't be surprised if you do see a sell-off, either while we're live on the show or immediately upon the market closing, a sell-off that happens right after. I'm not going to be surprised in the least. And one of the reasons why is because we're dealing right now on shorter time frames with a 1 hour sell signal. We did get a little bit of a money flow back up here, but this can be a misseen rally that ends up actually this comes back down. It can throw you off for a little bit. What we do know is we had a red reversal, bearish momentum, and very clean negative money flow earlier this morning, right? Didn't stop us from setting up a new high on this move, but these are signals you want to be aware of and you do not want to ignore. And the target that we're going to be looking for on this pullback, I'm going to show you a lot of different things calling for it, but we're looking back here towards 103.6, 103.3 thousand. That's going to be a camp back here. That's very, very interesting. A lot can happen between now and then. This is a moving target at the moment here, this smart trail, but I want you to kind of visualize this box right in here, somewhere between 103.7 and 103.2, give or take. This is going to be a very interesting target to watch for when you're looking at your Bitcoin pullback here. We also have a fat order block right in this camp here as well. If you move to lower time frames and you start to turn on the Investing Bros liquidation bars, you can see a fat amount of liquidations that kind of start here around 104,600, but they continue down and they technically go a little lower, but the majority of them stop here around this 103.4, 103.3 level. So big targets to the downside that we actually could see experienced traders target first before continuing to the upside, where of course there's liquidations up there as well. But another big reason, this is the last one I'm going to take a look at today, also using Bros indicators you can only get when purchasing them through our community. The Bros tool, I got to upgrade here in a second. The Bros tool right here includes a fixed range volume profile tool that gives us significant levels of support. We look for breaks in volume or valleys in volume, where a lot of people like to focus on point of control and value area high and value area low. And these are all great levels of support and resistance, but sometimes the dips in volumes are the most significant levels dictated by the thin blue lines here. And I know there's a lot of chaos going on, but if you look through it all, there's a thin blue line right here at about 103,400. So a lot of different things are calling for a pullback down to those levels. It would also make sense from a standpoint of, we had a big breakout, of course, yesterday, where we broke above this resistance level. Well, guess what? Back testing is a very common thing to do, especially when we really haven't had high volume confirming this breakout. What I mean by that is, what you want to see is not only a break above resistance, you want to see volume, bullish volume come in, confirming, hey, the bulls are here buying. We're heading to new highs. When you don't see that high volume, a lot of times retesting those levels is something to keep an eye on. The only high volume we've seen was actually the top volume. This is where the bears started selling off earlier today. So we're watching that on the 1 hour chart. We're watching that on the 30-minute as well. You do see bearish divergences, bearish calls coming in. In fact, they're actually all the way up, even potentially as high as the 2 hour chart, where you did see excessive buyers and negative money flow starting to come in. So be prepared for a pullback here. In our live trading group, we did set up a trade on this where we set up a certain stop loss and take profit. I'm not going to reveal that here on the show. I'm going to save that for our VIP trading group, but I am watching and very interested in a pullback on Bitcoin back down below 104,400. for a re-entry. All right, so that's going to be our Bitcoin technical analysis of the day. Long term, very, very bullish. The bull market's got a long way to go to the upside. We just could see a small retracement after all the bullishness from yesterday back down there to some good buying levels. Now it is time, before we actually get into the news, now it's time to go through. I want to do a couple coins technical analysis on the altcoin front, as we are discussing the possibility of altcoin season coming again very soon. We saw some positive news on this front when you're looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. Go back up here for me. There you go. We are seeing bearish divergence piling up on Bitcoin dominance on a lot of these time frames. We did reject here after climbing back up to 59.8%. We're falling a little bit here today. Again, bear signals, even on the 4-hour chart. You see sell signals coming in, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. All these things are trajecting the downside. But on a bigger note, when you look at these things from a larger perspective, even though we were bouncing back, let's get rid of this red line here for a second right there. It does look like we are forming a little bit of a potential rising wedge pattern on the Bitcoin dominance chart. If this does break to the downside, it would be very good for altcoin season. It would show a lot of dominance running to alts. I don't anticipate this happening with a massive Bitcoin pullback. In fact, what I'm going to say about altcoin season, whether you think it's coming, whether you think it's not going to come, whatever your thoughts are, what I expect this chart to look like and what I expect the rest of the bull market to look like is not going to be similar to what we saw in altcoin seasons past, right? If you go back here to 2021, you just watched Bitcoin dominance fall off a cliff. If you go back to 2017, you saw Bitcoin dominance fall off a cliff. I don't think we're going to see that again. In fact, I think that this time, I put a target earlier saying I think Bitcoin dominance is only going to fall towards 50 to maybe 45%. I'm really starting to lean towards only 50% right now with Bitcoin dominance. I think it's going to be a very slow bleed. Don't expect a move like this. I would say be prepared for a move on Bitcoin dominance that looks something a little bit more like this. We take our sweet time getting down here to the bottom around 50% and then hovering there before the bear market and before we rally back to the upside. But that's what we're watching here. A very different bull market than we've seen in the past. I do think altcoin season takes on a different look, but some of the coins really stealing the spotlight today, that are stealing some of that dominance away from Bitcoin as we are watching it take a slight dip to the downside. We got Ethereum over here. Ethereum, let's go to lower time frames here, where we are wrestling with a falling channel, a falling wedge here on Ethereum as well. We just talked about Bitcoins. Bitcoin had a bullish breakout already. Well, Ethereum hasn't had that bullish breakout, which actually means there's a bigger potential for a big move on Ethereum in the next couple of days. Be prepared for it. When it breaks out, we should be expecting somewhere in the move of a breakout in Ethereum back up here above $4,000. We're also tracking on Ethereum the potential move of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, where we have a nice left shoulder right here, a head right here, and a development of a right shoulder right here. If this ends up playing out, it's a much larger move for Ethereum. It's going to send the price somewhere more in the world of $7,000 or a little bit over that, $7,100. So Ethereum, one of the big ones that absolutely could steal some spotlight from Bitcoin dominance. It could get its gear into move here. I mean, we haven't seen an exciting Ethereum in quite a while. I think it's still a matter of time before Ethereum has a pop. But we'll talk more about Ethereum here in a little bit, because it's going to come back up towards the middle part of the show when we're talking what altcoins might not have the best altcoin season. That's not this part of the topic yet. Stick around if you want to hear more about that one. Another coin doing very well today. We're kind of rushing through some of these. Solana popping up. It's up 5% on the day. Of course, after retesting a former resistance level of its own, we're still watching for a big move on Solana, at the very least, to make its way up here, back towards, what is that? Not back towards, two new highs to $300. That's the minimum. I think it's a much more likely scenario we watch Solana in the long haul for the rest of the year have a massive breakout on this bull flag pattern. This would send price all the way up here towards $1,300. I put out a Solana price prediction the other day where I discussed other levels and what would have to happen to get to the $500, the $1,100, the $2,000 level. Well, we have a pattern on the charts that says 1,300 still is a target that analysts should be watching for. But what I love seeing here on Solana is just a continual bullishness no matter what has happened. If you go to lower time frames, we've come back down. We've hit a lot of support levels on Solana coming in here. Let's go to the 4-hour chart here. There we go. Went below that 4-hour smart trail for a little bit. Let's go 8-hour here. There we go. Bouncing off that 8-hour smart trail nicely, but we're starting to pile up on the lower time frame some bullish signals. I will say bubbles being formed right there on the 1-hour chart. So don't be surprised to see Solana scoop back down again. Maybe it's the 12-hour. Let's go out here. There we go. 12-hour, we're starting to see some buy signals coming in. Green reversal, bullish momentum. Money flow is negative, or not negative, excuse me, boring, but wants to go back to the upside. We are watching the transfer from this pullback that started back a couple of days ago on the 19th. We're seeing a lot of bottom signs come in that want to move us back to the upside. Some other coins that I might do a little more in-depth analysis. I'm kind of breezing through some coins that are having a great day today. Ondo today is up over 10% on the daily candle. You can see the money flow flowing positive here on the 12-hour chart. Did the daily chart get a buy signal? Yes, the daily chart is under a buy signal, even though it's hitting some of those take profit levels as we are speaking. But Ondo flying up here to targets we told you about just a couple of days ago. We told you to watch out for this smart trail on it. Look, it could go even up above $1.70 before it's all said and done. But we are hitting some major resistance there on Ondo. Don't be surprised, just like I said on Bitcoin, if you see a small pullback here, you do see some bearish signals, red reversals, bearish momentum, negative money flow on Ondo. Wouldn't be surprised to see it pull back down into the world of $1.52. Let's see if there's any other signals giving us sell signals. Not yet. Not on the 4-hour chart. What about the 2-hour? Yeah, the 2 hours close. That's a bubble that looks like it wants to pop. So that one's going to tell us somewhere, yeah, we're kind of backing up here on 150. So both the 1-hour and the 2-hour giving us targets around $1.50. That's going to be an interesting spot for a pullback on Ondo before its rally continues. Last one I want to take a look at here. Then we're going to do the news. Then we're going to come back and talk altcoins charts that are not necessarily looking great. Jasmy is having the best day of any crypto out there. Massive move here where it shot up on the daily. Let's just look at the daily candle for a second. Daily candle opened up this morning down at 2.47 cents. It is now up to 3.2 cents, going from a support level we talked about just a couple of days ago in this falling channel. Now it's sitting back up at resistance and is trying to decide, is this the time to break and move to the upside? If it is, we're going to see a movement somewhere in the world of a price action back up here to 4.8 cents, back to these highs we saw just not that long ago in December. But we do got to break above this resistance first. While the long time frames are giving us a lot of positive signals, we do see some resistance right above us. But the good news here, I think this is one where we're going to see buy signals even all the way up here on the 3 daily chart. But let's go 2 daily here for a second. Yeah, 2 daily chart buy signal coming in here with targets up here in that 4.8 cent range as well. So that is what we could see in the next couple of weeks. Don't be surprised as we are sitting at resistance, though, on our 1-hour and 2-hour, just like the other coins. We have a bubble being formed right here. Excessive buyers are leaving. Red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see a pullback somewhere here in the world of just beneath 3 cents, right? Probably in that area, 2.9 cents, 3 cents, but that's going to be where we pull back to here on Jasmy. But after we break above this red line, big run up. If you want to look for a reason to trade this, make sure to check out Blofin in our link down below. They are the sponsor for today's show. Make sure you're in our VIP trading group if you're looking for trade setups and how to handle the charts to know when to enter, when to exit, where to put your stop loss. But make sure you're using Blofin today. With that said, let's take a break. Let's take a break from coins. I just talked a lot of altcoins, a lot of technical analysis. We have more coming because we are going to be addressing the question, is altcoin season here? We kind of mentioned that a little bit, but are there certain altcoins that are giving us concerning signals about their ability to perform well during the altcoin season? Don't try to assume anything yet. Don't try to put words in my mouth yet and tell me what I believe. I'm going to tell you what I'm watching right now that's giving me concern and what doesn't give me concern and how I'm going to handle it moving forward. But I want to throw it to T-Shroom here, and let's get into some of those news stories, then we'll throw back to altcoins. Make sure to smash that like button. T-Shroom, what you got for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we dive into it here, Josh Sloan asked, can you talk about your paid program? So I've got pulled up here our links down in the description. If you're interested in joining the Ultimates package, this is our top tier package. You get a free hat. You don't have to look any further than this link right here. This is the BroLux membership link. That's going to take you to this website where you'll be able to sign up for portfolio audits, get your altcoins checked, see if your portfolio's percentages is really optimized. You get access to our founders' portfolios and much, much more. But today, flipping back over to the news, is all about MicroStrategy. This man right here, Michael Saylor, he is a leader over at MicroStrategy, which is the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. Huge. Michael Saylor is chilling in their internationally distributed cover of Forbes magazine, and they're calling him the Bitcoin alchemist. He absolutely has done a lot of what most people consider to be some magic with the convertible bond notes that they've been issuing and funding their aggressive purchasing of Bitcoin. But it doesn't stop there. It's a big day for MicroStrategies, like I said, because a central bank is buying shares in their company. Now let me zoom out for you, because you may be hearing that and you're like, okay, a bank is buying stocks. That, what else is new? This is very unique. Like the United States, the central bank, the Federal Reserve, they don't own any stocks, right? Central banks do not usually own any stocks. The fact that Norway's central banks is owning 500 million shares of MicroStrategy is very, very impressive. It's a big break from the traditional type of monetary investment that you'd see from a central bank. So this is a big deal. It's a large number, 500 million, and it's only expected to continue to rise. On the same continent, however, the ECB is cutting rates by 25 basis points. Now, this was expected, but this woman here, Marie Lagarde, she is the ECB commissioner, and she also said today that they don't expect to buy any Bitcoin. So you have one country buying Bitcoin proxy via MicroStrategy, and you have one central bank, I will say, much more significant, the European Central Bank, saying they will not be buying Bitcoin. My guess is that they probably won't be buying Bitcoin under her control, under Marie Lagarde's control. But once she's out, I have a feeling, and we're seeing politicians in Europe rising up and saying Bitcoin strategic reserve is something worth at least looking into, if not aggressively pursuing, like many U.S. states. El Salvador already has done, Bahrain already has done, and the United States federal government is looking into as well, and is expected to announce a Bitcoin strategic reserve any day now. So all of that culminates in a very good day for MicroStrategies. However, if you look over at the stock price for MicroStrategies, it's really not performing all that surprising. Nothing really jumping out at me here. It has been able to hold this uptrending line of support quite nicely there, which is pretty good. Currently trading at $345 per coin, but this bad boy got all the way up to $544 per coin just back in mid-November. So Tim, I want to throw it over to you. Could there perhaps be something to pull away from here, some insights in that, it's not just altcoins that are kind of being described as a failure to launch, although we're seeing today that they're up and to the right, but it could be just kind of across the board, a lot of big money kind of waiting for something. It feels like we have crossed a few Rubicons with Trump getting elected, Trump getting inaugurated effectively, a lot of talk and an executive order around a crypto strategic stockpile. Maybe not the right assortment of words that we were looking for, but is all this kind of, are we there? Have we crossed the finish line? Or are risk markets and big money managers waiting for something else before they invest in a big way into altcoins and Bitcoin proxies?
I'll tell you this, Shroom, the big moves in both crypto and the stocks that the bull market's not over for are going to come again. Okay, we're going to see another big rally. Unless we see us enter into a recession, we're going to keep going to the upside. Let me explain why things have seemed disappointing over the last couple of days and weeks. I know Bitcoin set a new all-time high not that long ago. Some other coins did as well, but even the stock market has been trending down a little bit. I think you're looking at MicroStrategy has been trending down since December. This is actually, we're going to talk about this here in a little bit when we talk about altcoins that are doing good versus altcoins that are not doing good. You have to remember when you're in the world of investing, that when there's a bullish event, when there's something that everyone's looking forward to, almost always, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but almost always, you front run, whales and institutions and large money front runs those good events, anticipating how bullish though they will be, and they'll go ahead and price in all the bullishness. But by the time you get to the event, there's nothing left to buy. They already bought the dip or overextended, and it's time to sell off. There's an expression called buy the rumor, sell the news. And that concept is very, very true here. What was the rumor? What was the news? Well, guess what? Donald Trump was elected president here in the United States. This is perceived as an extremely bullish thing. We'll go to the charts here in a little bit, Smay. You don't have to go right now. But this was very, very bullish. And so in anticipation of the January inauguration, that's going to be so bullish when we have our first crypto-friendly president. We have a president that's going to go after growing the stock market even more and boosting the economy. Everyone bought, and things front ran and things rallied to brand new highs. And then they slowed down. We realized we're overextended, and the inauguration happened. And a lot of things kind of sold off during that time period. Why? Because it was a buy the rumor, sell the news. But as things get boring again, and as retail investors start asking that question, is that it? Was that the top? Are we done yet? I'm finished with these coins. I'm finished with this stock market. I think the top is in. Right as those feelings start swelling up in the average person's mind, that's when these things will take off once again. They'll benefit from the longer term bullishness. So I'm not worried about the markets right now. I'm not concerned that we are, about 10 days into Trump's presidency and not everything is sitting at brand new all-time highs just yet. That's because they rallied beforehand. They're going to rally here shortly. Again, I can't tell you exactly what date, what time, how high, but I can tell you the bull market is far from over. We just experienced another buy the rumor, sell the news event. I believe the selling of the news is over and we're regrouping. We're watching smart money regroup. We flooded some people out. We brought prices on stocks down to levels we hadn't seen in months. Now we're ready to head back to the upside. That's my take right now on what I'm seeing in price action. And remember that we're talking about these big rallies that have had in cycles, because I'm going to talk more about this here in just a couple of minutes when it comes to altcoins. But before we get there, I want to throw it back to you, Shroom, to finish up all the news.
Yeah, well, I think the big 100-pound elephant in the room that is really kind of going to be steering a lot of investors into altcoins is really going to be when the Federal Reserve, we've mentioned it already in the show, goes ahead and announces the beginning of quantitative easing, right? And right now, the macroeconomic conditions do not yet exist in the United States for that green light to go on, for Jerome Powell to cut rates. We saw it in September. We saw a jumbo cut, 50 basis points, and then consequently 2 more 25 basis point cuts. We are seeing cuts from Canada. We're seeing them today from the ECB. You'll have the Bank of England that'll announce soon as well, but also the Bank of Japan went the other way. They're hiking rates, right? They've got their whole own thing going on over there. But what we really need to see, and what there often has been when altcoin season's a bit of a nebulous term, I suppose, especially now in kind of this institutional bull run. But quantitative easing does seem to be necessary for a huge movement and a gigantic repricing of altcoins to the upside. I don't think that it has to absolutely be present in order for an altcoin season like we've seen in the past to emerge. I think you could get there without it. I think seeing key multinational corporations starting to not just buy cryptos and hold them on their balance sheet, but start to integrate some of their operations on chain, I think could potentially spin up quite a bit of investor interest at a scale that we've never seen before into altcoins, into crypto. But I do think that the wind in the sails, as it were, that quantitative easing, meaning the increasing of the balance sheet of the Fed and the decreasing of the federal funds rate from 4.5 and where it's now to something below that, that is going to bring in the liquidity required for these market caps to double and triple for some of your favorite altcoins. So what does that mean? In my opinion, it means be patient, and that we're early, and that the assets are undervalued still. And the bad part is that you're going to maybe have to wait longer, right? But maybe not. Just looking at the news, there's something every day that is extremely bullish for altcoins. And it's just a matter of time before investors just can't wait anymore and they have to deploy. They can't stop their fear of missing out. So, you know, it may feel a bit discouraging sometimes, but I'm encouraged by the possibility of quantitative easing in the future. It just gives us more time to accumulate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, T-Shroom, let's go ahead and get into the topic here. I think a lot of people clicked on this video here to watch. We're talking about altcoin season. We're talking about coins that are looking very good and very strong, that probably have a lot of bullishness left, and some other coins that maybe aren't as strong. The momentum's not quite there. I want to make sure before I get into the details here and take a look at what's happening, I'm going to be very clear. A lot of the coins that I'm going to tell you are not looking strong, I actually hold in my portfolio. In fact, I'm going to more focus on the ones that I'm holding rather than ones that I'm not holding to talk about ones that I'm having some questions about. But that being said, this doesn't imply that I'm going to sell them. It doesn't imply that they can't rebound. We're not looking at fundamentals here. We're looking at charts. We're looking at power dynamics and seeing some issues that I just want to be 100% transparent with everybody. I'm the type of guy who says, you know what? It'd be really cool if I could just come in here and tell you your favorite coin is going to 1,000x and you're going to be a millionaire. But that doesn't help anybody. I'm going to tell you guys when I'm bullish and what I'm bullish on. I might be right, I might be wrong, but I'm also going to tell you things that are concerning to me so that you can take the information I'm about to give you. You can continue to do your own research and make your own decisions for yourself. So remember all of that when we get into this topic. But with that said, let's dive into the charts here, Smay, and let's talk about what is going on with altcoin season and what coins are doing well and what ones are not. So to start here, I'm going to start on Bitcoin's chart to explain some movements that were very significant, some time frames of explosive growth as we started this bull market. All right, technically, the bear market ended when we bottomed out in Bitcoin back in November of 2022, right? But there was a lot of questions on, is the bull market actually here? Are we really going to be hitting brand new all-time highs anytime soon? And we really didn't know when that would be. We didn't get a gist of how bullish this bull market would be until October of 2023. This is the time that the rumors about Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETFs being confirmed were starting to come out, and almost everything in the market, I'm looking at Bitcoin here, but almost everything in the market started to explode in October, okay? That's what you need to know. No matter what coin you're looking at, if you go back here, you look at Ethereum back here. Ethereum started to explode. Guess what? October. You're looking at Chainlink back here. Chainlink started to explode in October. You're looking at XRP. Now, XRP didn't really start exploding until November 2024. So that's a bad example. Let's go to a different one like HBAR. HBAR started to move October of 2023. Okay, so just showing you several charts and when they started really moving to the upside, confirming the bull market is here. Now, some coins finished their sprouts, had really big Februarys and Marches, and topped out here in February before a long summer drawback. And Bitcoin, for example, it topped out in March. If you were to go to coins like Solana topped out in March. Other coins, though, like Ondo, while they had a good March, they actually went a little higher and didn't top out until June. Several coins did this. So I want to be clear here. What we're talking about is different explosive moves, when they happened, how they happened, and ultimately asking the question, while whether the top of that first leg was March or June, was there enough power on the Trump news, on the Trump headlines about what the future of the bull market would look like to ascend coins to new highs, whether in December or January? And if it didn't, we're going to explain why that could possibly be a problem. But let's focus. I like the positives. I like the positives first. Let's go through the positive coins that are absolutely crushing it and what I love about them. Solana, right here, you guys can see. Let's go to the weekly chart just because the daily chart seems a little too quick. Solana, of course, had its big stuff happen actually a little early. It front ran the October news. It started rallying in September, but you can see here just Solana blasting through the ceiling between October of 2023 all the way here until March of 2024, right? Big move. Then, just like Bitcoin, it's nice, drawn, long, sideways action before it would explode in November to new highs on the cycle. And then, of course, here in January, we've already hit brand new all-time highs for a project in general. But this is a positive news. It means, yes, the big news back in 2023 started this whole thing off. But what's happened more recently shows me that this wasn't the only thing about Solana's bull market. There was enough hype about Solana to continue the bullishness and set new cycle highs here more recently in December and January of the last couple of months. Another coin that did just like this, Chainlink. Chainlink, very big October, ended up topping out in March, just like Bitcoin and Chainlink. It actually took a pretty big dump to the downside, moving all the way back down, wicking at $8 before finally bottoming out. Of course, Chainlink here in December shot to new cycle highs, getting all the way up to $30, and it's looking like it's making another push again, right? Very big momentum here to end 2023, early 2024, but after a cool off, the buyers decided it was worth an even higher push, and we set a higher high. I'm going to start, setting the groundwork there. That is what we're looking at right now. Good coins that are matching adoption and showing you that people want to buy these projects under a Trump presidency are setting higher highs than the March or June highs of earlier in 2024. Ondo, another great example here. Now, it only got started a little bit there in January. It didn't get the October pump, but you can see here, it topped out. It was one that had a nice April and March, went even higher in June, and then after a nice big correction, it went right back up. It set a brand new high here in December, and it's working on another one right now. Cardano, another coin. People want to sleep on Cardano, but what this tells me, Cardano actually one of the few coins on this list that the October to December 2024 rally was even larger than the October to March rally of early 2024. That actually tells me Cardano's picked up more momentum recently. So anyone hating on Cardano saying it's not going to make it, this chart tells you just how much people have liked buying Cardano as we look forward to the Trump presidency. That's a chart that I think is going to have another massive uptick to the upside and go to brand new all-time highs very, very soon. XRP, another one. This is actually one that had a very disappointing October of 2023 into the early 2024, but it took off here in November. There's been no coin that's probably benefited more from the Trump decision than XRP, and you can see we're working on brand new all-time highs even as we speak right now. XRP smashing it. Very, very good coin. A couple others you could talk about. HBAR, higher high. SUI, higher high. Jasmy, higher high. There's a lot of coins that did this, but I wanted to show you the gist of what I like about crypto. These are good cryptos. If we set higher highs in December than we set in either March or June of 2024, that shows you that people like these projects, they like what they're doing, and they've got a very bright bull market ahead of them. Before I transition to the ones that are not doing this, let's show you a neutral one. T-shirt made me promise I would bring this up and not FUD it. Ethereum is right on the brink. It is one of the few ones that I've seen here. It kind of just matched the highs from back in March. Technically speaking, if you want to get detailed with it, we did set a slightly higher wick here in December than we did way back here in March. So technically a higher high happened on Ethereum, but it's setting up a very bullish formation, an inverse head and shoulders pattern at the moment that's going to send Ethereum to the upside. And I'm very bullish on Ethereum. The biggest problem with Ethereum right now is the internal wrestlings of their team as they're trying to make some key decisions. All the while, Solana and XRP have been picking up ground on it, but Ethereum's still safely and squarely the number 2 cryptocurrency in the markets. I don't think that's changing in the next couple of weeks. I'm still bullish on Ethereum, but I will say we only bought this back up to these highs. So that's kind of a more neutral perspective. I wouldn't say that Ethereum is going to have a better bull market than the Solana, the XRP, the Chainlink, the Ondo. It didn't set higher highs, but I'm not going to necessarily try to FUD Ethereum either. Now we're getting to some coins, and I told you I'm going to focus on ones that I actually hold currently or held and have already decided, you know what, I'm switching into something else. But I want to be clear here. I'm not telling you these coins are doomed. I'm not telling you the fundamentals are terrible. I'm not telling you to go sell all of them because a couple of them I'm going to continue to hold. I might downsize my position, but I'm not giving up them. I'm just exploring and showing you a concern that should be held. Let's start off with coin number 1. A lot of you guys have been talking about it. It's AVAX. Guys, I love AVAX. I think that fundamentally AVAX is still a strong project, but it's no secret that it has been a little bit more disappointing here. After a fantastic run in October, November, after topping out in March, and then a large pullback in the summer, like a lot of other coins, we had a rally early in November, but we put in a lower high. Buyers were not as bullish on AVAX in the last couple of months as they were on some of these other coins. Now, just like Ethereum, we are working on a little bit of our own inverse head and shoulders pattern here as well. There still is some bullish formations here. I still think this is a coin that, again, can hit brand new all-time highs. But I've told you earlier, if you ever watched my price prediction in the past, low end, I was always looking at $200 as being a borderline disappointing bull market for AVAX and a realistic target being towards 400. This lower high in December makes me start to wonder, is AVAX realistic target really starting to come back down towards 200? And for that reason, I'm looking at some of the other real world asset places. We just watched Chainlink jump AVAX within the last 2 weeks. Do I need to reallocate some, not all, but some of my AVAX into better real world asset coins that are getting way more attention? Yes, Chainlink and Ondo. I'm not going to make that decision for you guys. I'm just sitting here telling you, AVAX, I would be lying to you, and I would not be doing my job of helping you guys the best I can without exposing and saying that's not a positive sign. That is not something you want to see if you want to have a massive bull market for AVAX. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope AVAX shoots up to $400, and I will hold a bag just because of it. But not a great start here into 2025's bull market for AVAX. Another one that I still hold and we love here, and I'm not giving up on it as a whole, but I just have to face the facts here. It's kaspa. Now, kaspa is one that in reality, it was super exciting in 2022 and in 2023, and we made our move all the way into 2024, hitting these new all-time highs. But since those highs in February, while we technically went a little higher in August, we've been dwindling here. And you can see here, while we almost made it back there, December, we couldn't break new all-time highs in December. Now, again, kaspa is waiting on a lot of fundamental things to happen. We did see the emergence of the listing on Binance come in. That's mostly the reason why we pumped right in here. And then, of course, we're looking at, sorry, that was actually Trump there. The pump that started right here was Binance. If we get a Binance and Coinbase official listings, this could change. But as it stands right now, I'm looking at here and I'm just looking at the facts. kaspa not putting in higher highs here in December than we put in earlier around June, July of this year. The momentum on kaspa slowed down. Now, I want to give kaspa one caveat here. kaspa has not followed the rules of the rest of the bull market at all. I mean, while other coins were still falling, kaspa was coming into the scene and exploding in 2023, rallying up until almost everything else wanted to pump, and then it decided to slow down. So it's almost like while kaspa was pumping, everything else was falling. And when everything else was falling, kaspa was pumping. So they do kind of play by their own rules here. They haven't followed the norm of the crypto markets. I do think eventually they will fall into there, but I just want to make sure it's very clear here. kaspa has been boring and setting lower highs here more recently, showing less of an interest more recently in buying up kaspa. I still predict all-time highs. I still think there's a lot of money in here. Just getting to $1.30 would be a 10x from here. I still think $1.30 is still easy for kaspa to do. But as we started to talk about higher price predictions I've given before, I am going to have to start rethinking how high I would price kaspa in the long bill. Let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But if we don't start to see massive buying and adoption of kaspa, it is going to start to slip down my listings and rankings of how high I think it could get in this bull market. Some other ones, again, this is one I actually just sold out of, Injective. You guys can see here. Yeah, right here. This is March. We shot up all the way in March to $53. In December, we could only make it there to roughly $35. That's a lower high for Injective. You don't love to see it. In fact, it's a pretty significant lower high. Another one I just sold, and I know a lot of the community might still like this. I know certain people in our community like this, and they've asked my opinion recently. I've been more silent on it, but ICP is another one. I'm not loving what I'm seeing here. Here in March, we rallied all the way up to $20. December, we only made it back to 15. So Injective and ICP, full transparency, these are coins I actually did go ahead and I took my investment and I moved it to other coins that are setting higher highs. These others, I'm not giving up on AVAX. I'm not giving up on kaspa. I still hold, I sold out of my Injective. I still am holding kaspa and AVAX, but I am concerned. Another one I sold out of, Stacks. I was so bullish on Stacks, but I'll tell you what, it's kind of like it's worth it that I'm losing Stacks. I was bullish on Stacks because Stacks was a layer 2 for Bitcoin, something I really thought Bitcoin needed. Well, guess what? It's now falling below a key support level. One of the reasons why is because one of my other favorite coins that I hold a lot of, Cardano, Cardano now is operating almost like a layer 2 for Bitcoin with their new partnership. So easy transition there out of stacks to go into other coins like like Cardano, XRP, SUI, some of these hotter coins that are picking up more attention. I'm going to break right there. I'm going to stop right there because we could go here just coin for coin through thousands of coins, and I could show you the bullish ones and bearish ones, but that's kind of the feedback we're looking at here. It's not a flat rule. There could be details that the charts don't fully communicate, but coins that are not setting higher highs in December or January than they set in the spring or summer of 2024, it does start to beg the question, why are these coins losing momentum? And some of them, I do fear, it's because people are just not that bullish on them. They're not going to have the massive adoption in altcoin season that some of these other coins are going to have. Choose the winners. Do not emotionally attach yourself to any coin. No matter how much you like it, do not emotionally attach yourself to coins. If you want to make money in the space, that means you need to know when it's time to buy and when it's time to sell, and what coins are the ones worth buying and what coins are the ones worth letting go of. Make sure you use that information if you want to make money in this bull market. That is something very, very big. You have to adopt into your investing mindset. Real quickly, let's read some chat here and see what is going on. Niraj Sharma says, Tim, I didn't even read this, so I'm reading this out loud for you guys. Tim, you got to accept the fact that this is not a holder cycle. It is a trader market like Josh and others are talking about. You are way too bullish. Possibly. Now, here's the thing, Niraj. I understand what you're saying. We are watching the adoption of institutional money come into crypto for the first time ever. That's going to come with two things. It's going to come with massive price increases. That's why I'm still holding on to those high predictions. You can call me crazy. You can call me moon boy. You can say whatever you want. That's fine with me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm following the details here. But the other detail that institutions come with is chaos and manipulation. So what we've seen already in this bull market of institutional adoption is a lot of coins shoot up and to the right in a very explosive manner. But we've also seen here more recently chaos and manipulation. What I love seeing, and I know this is going to sound funny, but I love reading the comments sometimes when people call me crazy, when people go into the YouTube videos or into my X post and say the bull market's over, altcoin season's done, Tim, you got this one wrong, we're never going to make it, yada, 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 yada. You know when you see those comments the most? At bottoms, right as things are about to explode and go to the upside. I'll tell you this, if I was seeing in my comments nothing but we're going to the moon, Bitcoin's ready to go to 300,000, altcoin season, if everyone was sitting here super, super bullish, that actually might scare me. That actually might communicate to me that people are about to get duped and about to lose out. But the fact that even long-term crypto holders, people have been here in a bull market, in a bear market before, even some OGs are starting to question if the bull market's still here and how high we can get. That to me is one of the most bullish signs that I can see. And the reason why is because that's exactly what the composite man, the institutions, the whales are looking for. They want to make money, and the best way for them to make money is to take your holdings and then skyrocket the price. But they're not going to do it while you're bullish. They're not going to do it while everything feels easy and everyone's making a lot of money. The best thing they can do is discourage and weed out all the weak hands, all the retail investors who are flooding. And then once they are gone and it feels like the markets are going to collapse, that's when you bottom out. The prices shoot to the upside. So anyone sitting here saying, Tim, you're wrong. Tim, the bear market's here. Tim, you're way too bullish. Just so you're clear and you understand, I actually love hearing it because it confirms to me the bull market is very much still here.
Yeah. Yeah, we've actually some breaking news, which could potentially open up some conversation. But we are kind of rounding out the end of the show here. But breaking news here, President Trump officially announces 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Why is this potentially bullish? Well, there's the potential impact it has on, America and in the economy and that. But what this does do, in my opinion, is it provides clarity to the markets, right? And it alleviates the uncertainty around what the heck is Trump going to actually end up doing with these tariffs. Now, these are two of the biggest ones, Canada and Mexico, but they're just two countries. The ones still to be announced are going to be China and Brazil, and some European nations as well are going to be very, very significant. 25% is also a number that the market was wondering about okay, we're going to get tariffs. What's the percentage going to be? Is it going to be 5%, 100%, 200%? What's the tariff going to be? So now I anticipate we'll see a little bit of a sell-off maybe throughout the rest of this week, but I do think that they're a mild sell-off. I don't want to shock anybody. But I do think that now certainty can potentially return to the market around some of these tariffs. And America does a ton of trade with Canada, a lot of trade with Mexico as well. Again, that really big one, though, China and some other countries as well, yet to be determined. Could we get that the rest of this week? Tim, the market has done so much work this week already, digesting the DeepSeek, digesting all kinds of other crazy events. Now we finally get a little bit of data, a little bit of information on what these tariffs are going to look like. Again, my whole thesis with altcoin season is there's a big bag of money out there that is waiting to deploy into the future of finance. They know it's the future, but they're sitting there wondering, is it fully priced to where, or is the price going to come down? And that's where I want to buy, right? So they're nibbling. We're seeing more and more whales coming into the market, more and more whales on chain. However, there's plenty of money out there sitting and waiting for prices to go down. That's what they're waiting on. And if they don't get those prices going down, eventually they will start to buy and there'll be a frenzy to the upside. Seeing a lot of pessimism in the chat. Bros, this is not the time to be pessimistic. This is the time to be patient. And I know you may be tired of hearing that, but unfortunately, this is what separates the men from the bros, right? This is, or the bros from the boys, I should say. You have to be patient here. I know it sucks. I know it may feel like you're starting to feel demoralized. Yeah. This isn't the bear market. It may feel like the bear market to you, but that's because you didn't buy in the actual bear market in 2023. Those who did understand that this is a patience game. The top is not in. Donald Trump just got elected. The market is just getting data on what his administration is going to look like. The freaking crypto subcommittee of the finance committee for the House of Representatives hasn't even had their first meeting yet. Give these people some time to cook before you start being all pessimistic. And, tune into the Investing Bros. We're going to be able to give you guys the information you need to, like today, we gave you, our digest on this set of coins. Ultimately, you have to make the decisions of what coins to buy and how long to hold them. I haven't sold anything. I've done a little bit of swapping, but personally, I'm a buy only until further notice. And that further notice probably isn't going to be until late July. So, Tim, that's kind of the way that I'm feeling about this headline here, 25% tariffs on Canada, Mexico. I said a lot, but do you have any reactions to that headline?
No, I mean, this is something that's going to be a process. People in chat, this is going to cause inflation. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to cause inflation. There's a whole can of worms we can open up about how tariffs will cause inflation. Guess what is going to happen though that follows it? Just track with me for a second. Tariffs cause inflation. Yes. Why? Because they will make things from foreign countries more expensive, or they'll force you to actually start buying American-based goods, which, guess what, are more expensive. So there's nothing out there that says that tariffs will not cause an increase in prices, because they will. Stay with me, though, because if you stop right there, it sounds nothing but negative, and you're going to be like, tariffs are the worst thing ever. When you bring work back to the states, back to our country, you increase the job market. You increase the amount of jobs we have. You increase the economy, which leads to raises, which, guess what? People want to make more money. Guess what else Trump is doing, though? He wants to transition to where, instead of depending upon the taxes of the American people, he wants to pay the taxes of the foreign people. He wants to eliminate income tax, federal income tax, which means, guess what? Under the plan that Trump wants to carry out, he will make the tariffs pay the bills of the government. He'll allow you to keep more money in your pocket. So A, you'll pay less in taxes. B, you'll make more money because our economy is doing better and you get raises. And yes, while things will slightly become more expensive, the amount of money you will make extra compared to the extra money you will pay is going to even off. And then even more so, Trump finally wants to start using American oil, American resources for energy. When energy gets cheaper, so will the costs of goods and services. And so in the long story, do we have a small time high inflation to make more money and put them in American pockets, so that in the long run, we can actually make things cheaper and benefit the people of this country? That's exactly what he is doing. I love the tariffs. You guys can say what you want. I'm going to be very just honest and straightforward. I love the idea of tariffs. I love the idea of getting the American people working, putting that money into the pockets of Americans rather than the pockets of the Chinese or the Indonesians or the Pakistanians. I don't know how you say their name, Pakistans. I don't know.
Pakistani.
Let's keep America in the United States. Let's benefit the American people. And then let's come up with common sense, structured legal immigration policies that people can come and be a part of the greatest country on earth. This is why I love tariffs, but you do have to wait for the long game. Another thing I wanted to comment on, and I know this comment was a joke, but there's people who genuinely feel this way. Let me find this comment again because it did go away a little bit. All right. I'm missing the comment, but it was pretty much this. I'm tired of hearing people say, be patient. I want to make my gains now. Now, there's laughy faces on the end of the comments. I'm sure the person was joking, but there's a lot of people watching this show right now who are not watching this show right now, also on X. There are people right now with that exact genuine feeling. I'm tired. Stop telling me to wait, Tim. Stop telling me it's going to come. Stop telling me that the bull market's not here yet. It's about to be here. I want it here now or else I'm out. That's exactly what the composite man wants you to think. That is what we have been trying to preach and teach you guys about the markets is if you think you, the retail investor, dictate the way the markets move, sorry, honey. Hard truth for you. You don't make the rules. We talked about this before. You're a little fish in the sea. The whales are the big boys. You can sit and cry about how unfair it is that those whales are so much bigger than you, or you can become a sucker fish and attach yourself to them. And how do the whales move? The whales are patient. The whales don't need to make money right now. They have money. So if they can just weed out all the weak, poor people, you and me, and because we're so impatient, then we give up on the gains. They make all the gains. That is not new to investing. That's not 10 years old. It's not 50 years old. That is thousands of years old. Wealthy people have more patience and they wait out the greedy, the restless, the retail investors. That's just what happens. But the people who start from the bottom, the people like you and me who maybe don't have a lot of money, but want to change our life forever, if we understand it doesn't do us any good to kick and scream and fuss and cry and whine and complain, if we just remain patient ourselves and attach ourselves to the movements and understandings of the whales, we're going to be the ones who actually reap the rewards. If you don't want to be that person, that's fine. Guess what? I'm also not telling you to leave our channel. I see people all the time say, if you don't agree with me, you can get out of here. Stay. If you disagree with me, stay here. Keep me in check. Ask me the hard questions. Tell me when I'm wrong. I love it when you're here. But I'll tell you, I've been around the block and I've done my research. The times where people are saying, I don't want to wait anymore. I want it now. Those are the types of times that breed the most results. If you can hold on and be patient, that's what gains the reward. So love hearing it. Love those comments. Love seeing the pessimism because that means we're on to something and we're getting close. With that said, it is 4 o'clock. Real quickly, we're going to do the factoid of the day. I told you guys, the beginning of the show, do not be surprised if the markets open bullish this morning and close bearish this afternoon. Take a look here at my chart here, Smay. This is 9 o'clock. This is the candle that we opened. Take a look at how the markets closed during our live show. Don't be surprised that this candle here is going down as well. We told you earlier in the show, probably heading back towards $103,000 area, below 104,000. So don't be surprised if you see a couple more bearish candles. This isn't the bull market over. This isn't crazy anything. We had a massive rally yesterday. We did very good. We got some great news. So how simple would it be to bring that boat back, let the whales and institutions buy the dip, let them retest resistance, and then take off? Just don't be surprised to see this pullback. We predicted it, and it looks like it is coming true. Smay, we're going to bring you up here, finishing off the show. Let's get our factoid of the day and call it a day. We do have, right after the show, we will be airing the Alpha Bros video about SUI. You guys have been begging for the SUI update from Crux. I'll be releasing a SUI price prediction Sunday morning, but make sure as soon as this is over, you go check out the SUI video. You do not want to miss it. Crux told me that if he doesn't get 1,000 views on it, he's going to cry a river. So go watch that as soon as we're done. Smay, let's do that factoid of the day.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Factoid Day, brought to you by Decrypted.tax. And we had to pull an audible here because we just need to educate Shroom here real quick. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. the factoid question of the day is, how much does the average, and I forgot to specify, the average African elephant, how much does the average African elephant weigh? A, as Shroom said, 100 pounds. B,
did he say 100 pounds?
He did. He said the 100-pound elephant in the room. So we went ahead and pivoted here. A, 100 pounds. B, 17,000 pounds. C, 11,000 pounds. Or D, 13,000 pounds. What is it?
So real quick, they more often not talk about these in terms of tons, which is 2,000 pounds. So 8 tons, 8.5 tons, 5 tons, or 6 tons. These are very close numbers. I don't think it's 17. I think 17 is a little high. It's throwing us off. I think it's C or D, Shroom.
Are you sure it's not A?
Maybe Shroom thinks so.
Maybe you guys have to split on this one.
I think it's...
Let's just be clear. Let's be clear. These things are born at like 700, 800 pounds. So T-Shroom wasn't far off. If there was only a 100-pound elephant in the room, people would be looking.
You're right. Because it'd be cute. It'd be like a little dog.
It'd be adorable. Yeah. That would be very fun. Okay.
Blue day.
All right, I digress.
I think D. I think D is the right answer.
Just
from
an
an SAT
tons.
standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the middle number.
I was leaning towards 5 tons when I read the question, but wasn't looking at the numbers. And so when I went down there and saw that, I was leaning towards C. Can we split this? Can we split it, Smay? Do we have to use one?
I would also like to specify, maybe this will help you out. I'm talking about a male African elephant average, not a female African elephant average.
And is it the forest elephant?
I don't believe that you would ever give us helpful
elephant.
Information. I don't think you would ever give us helpful information to help us get the right answer. You are an agent of chaos who wants to see us fail.
But maybe that's by seeing you fail.
I think it's C, 11,000. I'm thinking 5 tons.
All right,
is the
let's lock
right
it in.
Poundage
C
for elephants.
Right. And with that, the answer is D.
Not A.
Not A. But it's in fact D. The average male African elephant is 13,000 pounds. So anyways, thank you guys. And make sure you guys check out the free Discord or I'll be sad. Back to you guys.
All right. Well, sorry, Shroom. Talked you out of it. You had it. You were right on there. Yeah. You got that one right.
I got to address the 100-pound elephant in the room.
Yeah.
We got it right. We got it right in the sense that we got it wrong, but we also got it right. But it was one of the ones we were considering choosing.
We narrowed it down. We had the 50%. We just missed wrong. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys are bearish, glad you're here. Stick around. Let's watch how the markets progress. If you're bullish, continue to hodl on. Don't lose hope yet, because the minute you sell is the minute we will take off for the bull market of a lifetime. Hodl on, everybody. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios.